know you better. So tell me about yourself.
So I have just graduated recently from the university Faculty of Science. I have majored in physics, and I love science so much. I've been so passionate about science since I was a student, and not just science, but also the scientific thinking process and the critical thinking process that inspires all the knowledge and all the science that existed in this world ever since the beginning. So it's just not about physics or chemistry or mathematics. It is whatever that you choose to learn that I have reached the conclusion that it was initially inspired by critical thinking and by wondering and asking questions. And then the every on um, um, all the modern things and solutions and all the science that we have reached so far on this earth, it was reached because of scientific thinking. And this is something that I have been deeply interested in, and I chose teaching as a profession. So I'm currently working as a preschool teacher in the early childhood education field, um, because I feel that teaching is the one thing that, if done right and correctly, we can see all other professions and all of our students and all of our let's say artists, doctors, engineers flourish in the future if we do our job right, and if teaching is done right, then everything else can be done right, and we can see our lives grow increasingly, and we can see the societies that we truly dream about. So I am a teacher, and before I am a teacher, I am a learner. I have spent my entire life learning, and learning can never be enough. You can never say, I've learned enough or I've known enough. And I think this is one thing that all humanity can agree on. So before I am a teacher, I am a learner, and I'm a very passionate learner. And yes, especially science, and now education and teaching, and anything that has the ability to improve our lives and our way of thinking and living and connecting with the whole world and the whole universe.
That's awesome. Listening to one of the young teachers talking so passionately about teaching as a profession and teaching as a passion. It gives me a lot of pleasure to hear. And as you rightly said, if teaching is rightly done, then I think many issues can be addressed just there, and you can see probably better or more beautiful world. And okay, I think you have already covered half of the answer for my next question, but still, what made you to choose teaching as a job, or probably as a career, as a profession or passion?
Yes. Well, I wanted to teach what I am passionate about. I wanted to start taking the first step in being the teacher that I have never seen in my entire life as a student. So I've been to school, I've graduated from high school, and then I graduated from university. And in the course of my whole life as a student and as a learner in a professional setting, I have come across very little number, let's say, or a very little examples of what a true educator should look like. And that has both been such a major disappointment, but also a major encouragement and motivation for me to understand what is wrong or what needs to be improved in um, our teaching methodology and our methodology as teachers, and the way that we teach. So I've chosen to become a teacher because I want to inspire. I want to learn from the mistakes of other teachers that I have witnessed, and to learn from successful models out there, because we have so many successful teachers. And I'm not just talking about teachers in classrooms or professional settings. No, I have learned more from people who are not teachers, and I have learned more in places that weren't school or university, more than I have learned, unfortunately, in school or in university. And I think this is something a lot of people can relate to, a lot of students can relate to, and a lot of people who are working now can relate to, that true learning and impressive learning experiences can take place in life. It can take place in unprofessional learning settings and in places where you just don't expect it to happen. So I wanted to become a teacher, so I can maybe gather all of these elements or try and make the learning experience truly worth it. It should be interesting, it should be fun, it should be related to real life, it should be human, and it should be mindful, and it should carry lots of meaning that should put first in uh, in accounting that the human factor is the most important thing, and we deal with each other as humans before we deal with each other as a student and a teacher. So I want to put this above everything, and I want to learn as much as I can to be that teacher that inspires students, that gets them to truly have passion for science or subjects that are usually dull and boring and that students struggle with. I want to make it easier, I want to make it more interesting, and I want to make it fun and relatable. So yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. I think I have always experienced this. Most important learnings always happen in with this most unexpected experiences in life or from unexpected people and incidents. And I think it's very true that we should not limit ourselves to the classroom or probably to the academic calendars to learn things. And as a teacher, I think that should be the first quality that you should have, that you should consider yourself as a learner. And I think I have heard it somewhere that best teacher is the one who is a student for his or her lifetime. And see, I think there is a set of youth which uh, want to get into the teaching, but unfortunately there is no um, influential factor, probably with respect to the pay packages or placements and career growth that normally current youngsters look at. So you as an young teacher who have opted this as a career or probably a profession right now, so what are the three reasons that you would like to give to the youth, which is why they should choose teaching as a profession?
Okay. So, why youth or why young people, I wouldn't say should choose, but should be chosen to teach. And I have so many reasons for that. I would try to limit them to three. But let's talk about young people youth who have graduated currently from universities and are qualified to teach, or are the ones that are supposed to be seen currently in our classrooms instead of unqualified teachers. Well, the first thing is the passion that young people have in their lives, uh, their experience with the real world, the modern world, and the age difference that they have with their students, I think is the first thing that qualifies young people to be amazing and wonderful teachers. And this will get us to talk about what teaching standards that or what standards generally that we want to choose our teachers based on. If age was a very important factor, then I think we should talk about how the people or how the managers and the decision makers and people in the positions that qualify them to choose their teachers and to manage the whole teaching process look at age and experience and the link and the relationship between them. Usually in my country, and I would love to talk about my country specifically and then my whole continent, Egypt, and therefore Africa, but not limited to my continent, because I know this experience takes place parallelly in so many other countries in the world. And that is older people usually view um, age or the increase of age as a sign of increased experience, that the more that you spend time learning, the more it makes you qualified. And this notion, it we should have a spot on it and stop for a second to truly think about it. If experience was measured by how many years you've spent teaching, and this concept or this idea was introduced to me by someone whom I consider a fantastic and a wonderful teacher in one of his lectures, and that was outside of university and school. He told us that when you spend your life basically repeating what you have done in a classroom or what you have done as someone who works in any profession, and you just repeat it with no change, with no addition, with no wide perspective or bringing a new perspective to your job or what you're doing, then you have basically spent 1 year doing something and then the rest of the years repeating what you have done. And this is not experience. This is not how we should define experience from now on, or this is how older people should start looking at experience. So experience is a very important thing. This is not to diminish in any way the value of experience, but what you do through your experience that makes you truly a worthy person or someone who truly knows what they're doing. So what if we start looking at experience as how many things, how many different things have you managed to do? How many new perspective have you added to your teaching? What are the things that you have learned? What are you willing to bring to your classroom each year that is new, different, enhanced, and improved? And therefore, we can start looking at age so differently. We can start truly acknowledging the power of youth, what they have learned, what and I want to take this to a second point or a second reason, which is how we determine the value uh, of you as a teacher, of us as teachers. Unfortunately, up to this moment, all around the world, education is only measured or valued or accepted by specific academic standards. Like as a teacher or in any other profession, you are only evaluated on the basis of the academic certificates that you hold. It doesn't matter what you have learned through experience in life. It doesn't matter what you have learned through books or free learning. As there are, I know so many people who are self-taught and homeschooled, and they have an ocean of knowledge that other people with very significant academic certificates hold. So we don't acknowledge these people. We don't allow them to teach in our schools and to teach in our universities. And you know, Einstein was expelled once from school, and then he became Einstein. And but if you went back and then you said, oh, this person is very qualified and has a very wide knowledge of mathematics and physics, we should allow him to teach or be in a classroom, that would totally not be allowed or even tolerated as an idea. So that takes us to this very important point of on what basis should we allow whom to teach in our classrooms, and that should truly differ. We should truly start to look at it differently. Only then we can allow youth to be in our classrooms and to unleash their potential and their passion and the things that they have learned inside and outside university. So yeah.
Very true. I think, I have noticed this in almost every industry, that experience is considered on the basis of how many years of work you have done, irrespective of what was the learning process, and I know what is the amount of time that is being spent on one's own progress. So I think, you have rightly mentioned that essential change need to be brought in the selection process, that you focus on the passion, you focus on the learning, you focus on what new, or probably what fresh, or what good they can bring onto the table. It is not that how many years they have done same monotonous thing for you to consider. But I think it's, you have to consider uh, the knowledge rather considering the experience. If the person with 10 years has the knowledge, it is definitely okay to give him or her an opportunity. Or if a person with zero experience have equal amount of knowledge and passion to work, that person also should be considered equally, right? And I think that's very beautiful point that you have mentioned. And I think, as we see that in most of the schools there are experienced in term of year of experience, there are experienced people or teachers in most of the schools. So what do you think, young generation, or probably young teachers who get into the industry, what are the challenges they may face? It can be in terms of getting aligned with your previous set of teachers, or probably getting aligned with students and with the teaching methods.
Yes. I would see the challenges facing the teachers generally, whether they are new to the profession or not. Um, I would try to sum them up in three basic and very important challenges. The first challenge for any teacher, specifically the new generation of teachers like me, who have so much passion for the profession, expectations, um, learning methodologies and new things that they have learned that they want to bring into the classroom. The first thing that they face is a huge disappointment between what change they want to bring into their classroom and their imagination of the process that they want to take place in order to be able to truly deliver meaningful learning experiences and what reality holds for them. And when I'm speaking about reality, I'm talking about the curricula in place, the systems in place, and the teaching methodologies that are only approved in their schools. And it doesn't matter whether you are a teacher working in the public sector or in the private sector. And I know if we hold a comparison between the two, you would find definitely lots of differences, whether it is advantages or disadvantages. But I think if you talk to teachers from both the private sector and both the public sector, you would find them agreeing on that it's not true learning, or it's not the best learning in its final image that is taking place in the classrooms. And that brings in so much disappointment to the teachers when they are faced with reality and with the limitations of what they are capable of and what they are allowed to do in the classrooms. The second thing that truly gets so many teachers, young ones and older ones, to leave the profession and to start leaving teaching and to take other career options or professions is the burnout that they are um, that they face every day. um, it is tolerated to a point, but for us as human beings with different threshold of tolerating the burnout, stress, anxiety, and depression that come with the profession, with no agency for teachers, sometimes zero help and zero backup, and providing them with the assistance that they need, they truly have nowhere else but to start taking care of themselves first, and to start saying, we cannot keep on going like this, because we have needs that need to be met, because we have issues that we need to speak up about, and we need to be seen, and those needs, they need to be acknowledged. But there's no one to acknowledge what teachers go through, and sometimes so many teachers unfortunately feel ashamed and they feel guilty about even speaking up about how much stress they're taking in, about how depressed they are, about how the learning process taking place every day is just the same in repetition, a year after year after year, and they can't do anything about it. They have so many limited resources, they have no agency, and they have no support in their career, and in their work environment. And yes, working environments is a very important thing to talk about, because sometimes a working environment can be so toxic, and teachers are usually assigned to a work overload and extra work, and that would take us to the third point, and they don't even get paid for it. The third thing and the biggest challenge that we have to acknowledge and talk about the teachers face is being underpaid all the time, even in public sectors and even in private sectors. Um, if if we're not going to admit that teachers are as just as important workers as doctors and engineers, who are also probably now underpaid, and I'm talking about my country, doctors here are so underpaid, even more than teachers. Like, some of the public sector in health, you would find teachers who are less paid than teachers in the private sector in education. So this is a huge problem that we have to talk about. Teachers can barely support themselves. Teachers who have families and children, they can barely support their families. And if you're not finding that the thing that you love doing the most is paying back to you the basic, your basic human right is to hold a gracious life and provide a basic life for your family, then we cannot blame them when they start looking for alter options or other options. So for me, these are the biggest three challenges that teachers face. It is the rigid systems and dysfunctional systems that give teachers so little freedom to what to do with their learning experience and their teaching experience. It's the burnout and the psychological and mental load that they have to face every day and deal with, that is not acknowledged and not met with enough support. And the third thing is teachers being underpaid and absolutely diminished with their needs, or whatever they need. So yeah.
Oh, okay. I think you have brought in really, really important points. So let me talk about the stress. So how do you manage the stress that your teaching profession brings in?
Well, I would consider myself very lucky to have a teacher agency in my school. I have a wonderful supervisors, wonderful managers, and wonderful teachers and educators who feel for us. and who are one of us before that they are our supervisors or anything else. um, and I think it starts from within the school. If you feel appreciated enough, if you feel valued enough, if you're being paid enough, I think, and if you're also provided with the assisting tools that you need during your teaching year, I think this alone can take so much of the stress that we face as teachers, because stress is a must. But I won't say that we can create, or that there is a school that creates an environment that is stress free. No, I mean, stress is a normal human feeling and a reaction to working generally. And I think if you're working in any field, you will absolutely hit a point where you feel stressed, and you will feel sometimes overwhelmed, and you're not able to carry on without support and without being provided with the help that you need. So I want to talk about a recent experience that we just had as teachers in my school, and that is our board decided that each week there will be a team of teachers who work together that are going to be chosen to be that for their work to be highlighted and appreciated at the end of the week. The team that has best communicated, the team that has best worked together, the team that has best um, showed how teachers and co-teachers should work together. And and they are giving a symbol, I don't know what to say, like a gesture of care, a gesture of, here's an extra thing for you because you truly did a good job, and we can see you, and we can acknowledge that job that you do. And also, they decided that we as teachers should be involved in a community, and that community should have some free time to be able to recharge and give back. So they have basically um, established a club for teachers, where each month we are going to uh, make some time for either a trip, a book club reading, or something special of our choice that's going to bring in all teachers as a special time without students, without the burden of work. See, these are very simple examples of what you can do in your school that can show teachers that they are taken care of, that they matter, that they are important, and that they are seen. So this side, I know, would have to do more with where you are working and the working environment that you are in. But as a teacher, what can you do to yourself that can eliminate stress? I think the first thing is being able to instantly um, uh, give some space between what happens at work and when your day starts after work. As a person, I think you should completely separate work from your personal life. Sometimes people do not know how to do this. They usually keep thinking about what happened during the day. If there's something bad that took place, if there are issues they are handling, they bring that home, and that keeps stressing them over and over. That could bring in anxiety and depression. So I think if we just learn how to separate our personal lives from work life, this is a very powerful tool that we can use. And also using our time off. I don't know about how the week works for other teachers from around the world, but we get 2 days per week as a vacation or as a weekend for us. I think it's very important to use these 2 days. You should take care of your social circle. You should see your friends. You should go out. You should spend more time doing what you love. I think this could fill you in with more power for going next week with less stress and with more power to teach what you have to teach. So, and yes, I hope that in each school there would always be psychological help for those who need it. There would be support on how to handle our social life and our personal life away from work, and what are the tools that can be of great assist. And I think this would make a great difference in teachers' lives.
Absolutely. I think, I used to, I always say this, it's you cannot pour from empty cup, so you have to take care of yourself first.
Absolutely.
And also you have mentioned about remuneration, and, teacher salary is considerably low in most of the countries. And what do you think, is that true? And what should be the, measures to uh, decide one's remuneration? It might be teacher or any profession. What do you think should be the major criteria to, decide or to plan or to set a kind of remuneration?
Yeah. Well, I think if we look at the from a wider perspective on the field of education, you'd find that in let's say a hierarchical perspective, that uh, education goes a long way from teachers and students being at the very low of that hierarchical structure, going up to managers and school moderators, going up to decision makers, going to politicians, going to, you know, finally to the Ministry of Education, let's say, and the 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 decisions that are being made that control the whole process of how education looks like. So, and I'm very aware of how teachers have so little power sometimes to effect a change that brings about um, tangible results all around the country. But the work that they do should also never be underestimated, because they are the little waves and the butterfly effect that starts that change, whether it could take very little or very long time to see it become reality. It starts inside the classroom, and it could be just inspiring your students, motivating your students, giving them the power to believe that they are the ones that can bring about that change, because they are going to grow up and be the next generation of politicians. They're going to be the next generation of decision makers. They're going to be the next generation of writers and influencers and people on social media with platforms that speak up and inspire millions and millions. I think we should not overlook this, no matter what. It's us who hold that power in our hands. So it doesn't matter what you tell me, what I should teach or what I shouldn't teach in my classroom, what I'm allowed to say or what I'm not allowed to say, or how the process of my teaching should look like or take place within a certain frame. I still hold the power to influence and empower my own students. I think this is the greatest power that there is, and this is what I love most about teaching. It's just, you know, you consider yourself or you see yourself as, more like how a parent can influence their own children. So all my students, I consider them my own children, and I really hope that they could look up to me as someone who has done their best to be the best possible example that there is to them. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, I think that is the dream of most of the teachers. They want to set an example. They want to be an example. I think it is this is the responsibility of complete administration or probably environment around to give them that space and to give them that facility, to do the to be themselves and to influence, right? So, and this is my last question, but I think this is very important. We all learn inside the classroom as teachers or as educators from children or from incident. So you have anything like that to share that you felt that this is the lesson that I have learned today?
Yes, I remember that the most prominent or the most significant experiences that stuck in my mind and my head and in my memory as a student, they were the moments that we were not so indulged in the book reading something historical or scientific, or that we're doing some math equation. No, the moments that touched me the most and influenced me the most and truly got me believing in the power of a teacher, because we definitely look up to our teachers, and we definitely can be influenced by their kindness. And I think kindness is one of the most important ingredients in the teaching process. I was influenced the most by kindness. I was influenced by teachers who had the courage to step outside for a second and said, let's put a pause on what we have today, and it doesn't matter if we get a little bit late or little bit behind. And they decided to share a personal experience that they went through, something that we learned, let's say, during the day, and then they got to witness the relativity to the real world, and their own experience as a teacher. Because some of the teachers are actually writers in real world. They are actually scientists, and in their original career they are scientists, and then they decide to teach. Some of them are writers and historians, and then they decide to teach history and stuff like that. So they are the people who got to truly witness before us how this science, how this knowledge relates to real life. So I remember a moment of joy when I saw a science teacher stepping outside the classroom with his students and showing them how the white light is analyzed, and he showed them the seven colors of a rainbow, and they were all so happy and they were all smiling, and you could see the joy on their faces, that how something theoretical that they've only seen in the book have turned into reality. And it makes it so simple, and it makes it fun, and it makes it relatable. So I think these were the moments that influenced me the most, and I think these are the moments that I'm working on, and trying to get them to be not just moments, but more than just that during my teaching experience. Hopefully we'll get there someday, and all of those teachers, hopefully we will all get there one day. So thank you for that question.
Awesome. I think I have got all my answers. If you have anything to share quickly to end it up, you can.
I just want to thank everyone who is going to listen to this and is listening to this right now and have reached it this far. I want to say that whether you are a learner, a student, a teacher, an educator, someone who pursue something that whether they love or do not love, or they don't have the privilege of pursuing what they love in this life, I think that you hold a power within yourself that you should never underestimate, and you should reach out for others always, whether it is for help, for guidance, for mentoring. You should always reach out to other people. And yeah, by saying that, I want to say that I'm here, I'm a teacher, and if anyone wants to reach out to me, I'm available. If anyone wants to reach out to Pooja, she is available, and she's doing an amazing work, and you should check out all the work that she's doing, all the teachers that she has managed to get their experience and their opinion and their you know uh, ideas and thoughts all in one place. It's a wonderful job, it's a wonderful thing, and you should check that out. You should keep learning, and I think science is becoming, not just science, I think knowledge is becoming more and more available each day. And I believe in equal access to knowledge, and in equal access to information, and that it should be free for everyone. So what we're doing here is is in the core of what I believe in. It's accessible, it's easy, and it's free, and it's for everyone. You don't have to be a teacher just to watch this. You can be anyone. You can be just someone who wishes to see change one day in this future, and this is what we all hope for. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being a mindful listener and for listening. Thank you, Buja, for having me here again.
Thank you so much, Rana, for being great friend to influencer to the speaker. And this is so amazing talking to you. And I would definitely like to come back again and again with you with many different topics. Thanks a lot for joining in. And yes, as Rana said, this is free and this is accessible to everyone. Please share with every like-minded people so that we all can come together and bring a great change in. Thank you. See you all. Bye bye.